AITA for letting my son-in-law and daughter move in, and now they've stolen everything from me, including my house. What I did next will shock you. I let my son-in-law move in while he was looking for work. 3 months later, I opened my fridge to find labels on every shelf. "Don't touch what you didn't pay for, old man," one read. My daughter just rolled her eyes and said, "Grow up, Dad. It's his house now, too." The next day, my bank account was frozen. Let me tell you how fast your own blood can turn on you. I'm a 61-year-old widower. I live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. My wife passed 3 years ago. She was the only woman I ever loved. Cancer took her quickly. She was gone within 4 months of diagnosis. She ran that house like a queen. After she passed, everything got quiet. Too quiet. I kept myself busy. I still ran my auto repair shop on the east side of town. Even though business slowed down a lot, I made enough to pay the bills. Didn't splurge, didn't take vacations, just lived simply. My daughter Lauren was the only family I had left. She's 29, smart, funny, but really stubborn. She moved out at 22, got her degree, and worked in marketing downtown. She married this guy, Jesse, about 2 years ago. I never liked him from the beginning. Jesse's the type of guy who always acts like he's got the next big thing going. Never had a real job, just floated from one project to the next. Startup ideas, consulting gigs, crypto investments, you name it. He talked like a TED Talk speaker, but lived like a couch surfer. I kept my mouth shut. I didn't want to push Lauren away. That was my second mistake. It was mid-February when I got the call. "Dad, can we stay with you for a while?" she asked. We got behind on rent just for a few weeks. Promise. I was surprised. Lauren never asked me for anything before. I asked what happened. Jesse had invested most of their savings in a new coin he found on Reddit. Lost nearly all of it overnight. They couldn't pay their rent. The landlord gave them until the weekend to leave. I didn't think twice. I said yes. I had plenty of space. Bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I'd already fixed one up for guests, just in case she ever wanted to visit. They moved in that Sunday. Brought a truckload of stuff with them. Lauren looked embarrassed. Jesse looked like he was checking into a hotel. The first week was quiet. Jesse mostly stayed in their room during the day and played Xbox or scrolled on his laptop. He didn't help with anything. Didn't carry in groceries, didn't take out trash, didn't even mow the lawn. I let it go. Figured maybe he was depressed. Lauren tried to cook a few nights. She cleaned once or twice, but I started noticing little things. My tools were moved in the garage. My laptop was open in the office when I hadn't touched it. The Wi-Fi name was changed to Jesse's Zone. That was week 2. By week 3, Jesse started getting really comfortable. I came home one day and he was in his boxers on the couch eating chips, watching some podcast on YouTube where guys yell into microphones about alpha males. He didn't even look up when I walked in. "You looking for jobs today?" I asked. He smirked. "I'm building a brand." "What does that mean?" He shrugged. "It means you wouldn't get it." 3 months in, I came home after a 10-hour day at the shop. I walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, and nearly dropped the soda can I grabbed. Every shelf in the fridge had a label on it. Real labels, laminated. Jesse's drinks, do not touch. Protein section paid for by me. And the one that set me off, "Don't touch what you didn't pay for, old man." I froze. That fridge, I paid for it. The food inside, I bought 95% of it. The electricity keeping it cold, that's on my dime. I walked into the living room holding the can. "Jesse," I said, "what's this?" He looked up slowly. "No shame, just trying to set boundaries, man. We're all adults here. You gotta respect the space." I turned to Lauren. I expected at least a frown, something. Instead, she rolled her eyes like I was the one being difficult. "Grow up, Dad," she said. "It's his house too now." The next day, I stopped for gas before work, tried to use my card. It declined. I thought the machine was broken. I tried again, declined. I called the bank. They said my checking account had been locked due to suspicious activity. I drove down there in person, told them it must be a mistake. The manager pulled me aside. "Mr. Peterson, we had a phone call last week. Someone claiming to be you. They added a co-signer to your account, a woman named Lauren Davis. My stomach dropped. She'd added herself to my bank account. I never gave her permission, never signed anything, but she had enough of my information: date of birth, social security number, even my old passwords. Can you reverse it? I asked. We'll need to investigate first, they said. It could take time. That night, I came home shaking. I asked Lauren point blank, "Did you touch my bank account?" She didn't even flinch. I needed to. We were falling behind. Behind on what? You don't pay for anything here. She got defensive. You don't understand what it's like for people our age. Everything's stacked against us. You've got all this money sitting around while we're drowning. I turned to Jesse. He was leaning in the doorway, arms crossed, smirking. Got to adapt, man. It's survival. I called my friend Rick. He used to be a cop. Now he works private security. I told him everything. Get cameras in that house, he said. Don't tell them. We did just that. He installed them while they were out. Tiny ones hidden in vents and smoke detectors, even one in a lamp. Legal since it's my house. Over the next few weeks, I collected everything. Video of Jesse logging into my laptop. Audio of Lauren talking to someone about moving funds around. Recordings of Jesse laughing with his buddies on Discord about how easy it is to bleed the old man dry. We even caught footage of them opening my mail and snapping pictures of documents. Rick passed the files along to a detective he knew. They opened a case. Quietly, I waited. 2 weeks later, I played it cool. I started acting like I didn't care. I smiled, made pancakes one morning, watched TV with them, pretended nothing happened. Then I told them I was selling the house. Time to downsize, I said. It's too big for me anyway. They freaked out. You can't do that, Lauren shouted. Where are we supposed to go? I don't know, I said. You'll have to figure something out. That same day, I went down to the courthouse and filed an eviction notice. Because they had no lease and weren't paying rent, the law was on my side. They had 30 days. Jesse tried to play tough guy. You're making a big mistake, he said. I just smiled. You have no idea. After I filed for eviction, everything in the house changed. Jesse stopped pretending to be polite. He walked around like he owned the place, slamming doors, blasting music, leaving trash wherever he wanted. Lauren barely spoke to me. When she did, it was cold. You're ruining everything, she said. One night in the kitchen, she said, we were finally getting ahead. Getting ahead by stealing from me, I said. She didn't answer. A week later, I came home from a grocery run, and my key didn't work. They changed the locks. I stood on the front porch with 2 bags of groceries, stunned. I called Lauren. No answer. I called the locksmith. He said a young man had asked for a lock upgrade and claimed to be the homeowner. I had to show ID and paperwork to get it fixed. When I finally got inside, Jesse was sitting on the couch, smirking again. Just trying to keep the place secure, he said. Lots of break-ins in the area. You're playing a dangerous game, I told him. He shrugged. It's not a game if I'm winning. Rick and I went deeper. He pulled a background check on Jesse. What he found made my stomach churn. Jesse had 2 previous charges for identity theft. One in Nebraska, one in Wisconsin. Both dismissed because the victims didn't push charges or didn't have the evidence. He had 3 different names listed on old job applications. He even tried to get a small business loan last year in my name. When I brought it up to Lauren, she screamed at me, "Why are you spying on us? You're destroying your own family. I'm trying to protect what's left of it." I said that night, I locked my bedroom door for the first time in decades. 2 days later, the detective Rick knew called me. We got an anonymous tip that someone in your house is trying to launder money through fake online businesses. He said, "Let me guess." I said, "The tip came from Jesse, probably. But he just made it easier for us." We were able to dig deeper into his online activity. Turns out Jesse had used my IP address and identity to set up 3 different fake websites. Shell companies he used to borrow money from friends and strangers. He collected payments, then ghosted everyone. They now had enough to file charges. They just needed the right moment. One night, maybe a week before the eviction would go through, I came home from church. The house was dark. I opened the door and stepped into broken glass. The living room window had been smashed from the inside. The place was trashed. Furniture overturned, drawers pulled open. My office ransacked. Lauren sat at the kitchen table crying. Jesse was pacing like a maniac. "They froze everything," he shouted. "All my accounts, my wallet, everything. You did this, you nosy old bastard." "They froze them because they're not yours," I said calmly. He rushed at me. Lauren screamed. I braced for it, but before he could touch me, blue and red lights filled the windows. Rick had been waiting outside just in case. 2 officers came in. They didn't even ask questions. They rid him his rights right there on my living room floor. Jesse kept yelling, "You think this is over? You're nothing, man. You're a dinosaur." They hauled him off, still shouting. Lauren collapsed into a chair, silent. The real damage hadn't even started yet. Not to them, not to me. Because what came next would tear open every secret they'd been hiding and forced me to make the hardest choice of my life. Jesse was gone, but the house still felt poisoned. I expected Lauren to pack up and leave the next day. She didn't. She stayed in the master bedroom, barely came out, didn't say much, just wandered around like she was in shock. I tried not to push, but after 3 days of silence, I sat her down at the kitchen table. "You need to talk to me," I said. "What else don't I know?" She looked up at me, eyes red, hair a mess. "I didn't know about half of what he was doing," she said. "I swear." I didn't know if I believed her. I wanted to, but then she said something that caught me off guard. "He promised me he'd help fix your will." "What will?" I asked. She hesitated. "The one you updated last summer. He said he'd make sure I was taken care of." My blood went cold. I didn't update my will last summer. I went straight to my safe in the hallway closet. I kept my will there. The original version had me leaving the house, shop, and everything to Lauren. I hadn't changed it since her mother died. M.I. opened the safe. The will was gone. As in its place was a folder. Inside were photocopies, bad ones, of a will supposedly updated July 2024. My signature was at the bottom, but it wasn't my handwriting. I stared at the page for 5 full minutes. Jesse had forged my will. I showed it to Rick the next day. He knew a handwriting expert. Within 48 hours, it was confirmed fake. We turned that over to the police, too. Later that week, Lauren finally cracked. She came into my room in the middle of the night crying. She sat on the edge of the bed like she used to when she was little and had nightmares. "I didn't know he was doing that," she said. "He told me you changed it because you didn't trust me anymore. He said you were going to leave everything to a church. Why would you believe that?" I asked. She looked at me with something like shame. "Because I thought maybe you did stop trusting me." I stayed quiet. Let the silence speak for itself. Then she said something I'll never forget. "I think I'm pregnant." That changed things. Not in the way she hoped. I didn't hug her. I didn't say congratulations. I just asked one question. "Are you sure it's his?" She nodded. I asked if she'd seen a doctor. She hadn't yet. I told her the truth. "You're not staying here. Not like this. You need to get a job, get a place, and start over the right way." "But I don't have anywhere to go." "I gave you 3 months. You and that man almost ruined me." Then I got up, walked to the living room, and turned off the lights. The next morning, there was a sheriff's deputy on my porch. He had a piece of paper in his hand. "Mr. Peterson, this is a notice of claim. Your daughter is suing you for financial abuse." I almost laughed. "What?" She says, "You pressured her into signing over funds, withheld property that belonged to her husband, and created a hostile living environment." I looked at him. "Are you kidding me? Just doing my job, sir. You'll need to appear in court." From that moment on, Lauren treated me like a stranger. She stopped crying. She stopped talking. She just walked around the house like she was waiting for it to be hers. She wasn't pregnant. I found the test in the trash 2 days later. Negative. The whole thing was a lie. The lawsuit moved fast. Her lawyer, a smug guy named McDowell, asked for emergency access to my financial records, claimed Lauren had been manipulated by her aging father and his aggressive behavior. It was the first time in my life I had to hire a lawyer to defend myself from my own child. One night, I woke up to the smell of smoke. Not a lot, just enough to make your heart race. I ran to the kitchen. The stove was on. A towel had caught fire on the burner. It was still smoldering. Lauren was in the living room scrolling her phone like nothing happened. "You trying to burn the house down?" I shouted. She looked up slowly. "You always act like this is just your house. Maybe it's time you learned how it feels to lose it," I called Rick. "Get me out of this," I said. "I don't care what it takes." Rick and I came up with a way to end this once and for all. We were done playing defense. It was time to go on offense. We gathered every piece of evidence: the forged will, the bank records, the video footage from the house, the false pregnancy test, the police reports, the lawyer's threat letters, and the attempted arson from the stove incident. Rick's private investigator friend tracked down 2 of Jesse's old victims. Both had lost thousands to his fake online businesses. They were more than happy to testify, but the key piece was Lauren's handwritten journal. She left it in the laundry room one day. I shouldn't have read it, but I did. Inside were notes where she talked about getting what's mine, playing the long game, and how once the house is sold, I'm out. I made copies of every page. Then I called my lawyer and told them I wanted to sue them back for fraud, elder abuse, identity theft, and defamation. In court, Lauren looked like a ghost, pale, nervous, still trying to look innocent. She brought her lawyer, who kept referring to her as the vulnerable daughter of a manipulative parent. But we had the facts. First, we showed the forged will. The handwriting expert took the stand. Slam dunk. Then we showed video clips of Jesse using my computer while I slept. Him bragging about draining my bank accounts. Him admitting on Discord that Lauren was in on it, but didn't have the guts to do the hard stuff. Then I took the stand and laid it all out. Calm, honest, broken-hearted. Her lawyer tried to twist things, asked if I'd ever raised my voice at her, if I ever withheld money as punishment. My lawyer calmly brought out the copy of her journal. The courtroom went silent as he read a few entries. "She doesn't deserve it anyway. Dad's losing it. He won't even see it coming. Once the paperwork clears, I'll change the locks." The judge's expression said it all. The judge ruled in my favor on every count. Lauren's lawsuit dismissed with prejudice. The forged will declared criminal evidence. The district attorney's office filed charges against Jesse and added Lauren as a co-conspirator. I was awarded full restitution for damages over $90,000 in total, including legal fees, the frozen accounts, identity protection, and emotional distress. But I didn't stop there. I didn't sell the house. I had it fully remodeled. I hired contractors to gut the master bedroom, replace the doors, and repaint every wall she ever touched. It doesn't look like the same home anymore. And the fridge, I had it replaced with a new one, but I kept one thing: the "Don't touch what you didn't pay for" old man label. I had it framed and hung above the new fridge as a reminder. Jesse was sentenced to 5 years in prison for fraud and identity theft. He tried to act tough in court, but nobody was buying it anymore. The judge even said, "You're a thief hiding behind buzzwords and cheap tricks." He's serving time in a medium security prison down in Arkansas. I heard through the grapevine he got beaten up for trying to scam an inmate in his first week. Lauren took a plea deal to avoid jail time. She was sentenced to 2 years probation and 500 hours of community service. Her name got dragged all over local news. She lost her job. No one in her professional circle will touch her now. I haven't heard from her in months. But one day, I got a letter handwritten. No return address. All it said was, "I thought I was smarter than you. I was wrong. I hope one day you forgive me. I'm not asking for anything, just wanted to say it." I didn't reply. As for me, I closed my auto shop, retired for good. I bought a fishing boat and spend my mornings on the lake. Peaceful, quiet, mine. I see friends. I go to church.